Hello Sportster fans, this is a short video of my 77 XLH. She's a beauty, pretty much all original, except for the forked seat, the rear fender. I think the shocks might have been replaced at one point as well, but other than that, everything's pretty much original frame, tank, engine was rebuilt about 6,000 miles ago or 6 years ago, and everything else I pretty much restored myself. Wiring, solenoid, all that miscellaneous stuff. The only thing that's still completely original is the transmission. The transmission was still in good shape at the time that the engine was rebuilt, so I decided to leave it that way. As you can see, I did some custom modifications myself. Actually, the front fender was customized by the previous owner, which was a longtime friend of mine who was a auto body guy. So he did the front fender himself. He lengthened it. It looks really nice. Got a nice classic look to it, I think. And so as you can see, I also put the long fender on the rear with new struts, strut covers. I should say, the chrome strut covers. The seat I pretty much did all myself. I added the springs in a kind of an ad hoc fashion, but it works, because even with the shocks, the ride on this thing is still pretty rough. That's why I can't understand how guys can handle the ride of rigid frames. And as you can see, I also customized the headlight and signal lights. I made a metal bracket to mount the headlights and the signal lights. Just made it out of 1/8 inch sheet metal. Cut it and bent it myself. I also took a fork cover that was originally meant for the bottom and modified it to fit on top to cover the empty spaces where the original headlight mountings and instruments went. So that was a cool idea. I'd recommend that to anybody. It's just like I said, it's a bottom fork cover, and it could be easily modified to fit on the top. So obviously the headlight has all the major electronics in it as well. The turn signals, I added a completely new turn signal control system into the original handlebar controls, and the turn signals will go on with one flick of the switch instead of having to hold it, and the turn signals will stay on for 10 seconds or until you hit the switch again, or if you hit the other switch, the other side switch. So that's also a must, I think, for old bike owners, instead of having to hold the switch down. Also, I mounted the signal switch on the inside so it was closer to reach, and that way I can do it without having to let go of the grip. Also, it keeps the starter switch out of reach. Same with the other side. This bike actually has a S&S Super E carb on it, which is not the original carb. I believe this bike was an AMF, and it came with a Bendix carb, but the previous owner, like I said, put a Super E on it, and consequently It doesn't run all that well at idle. It likes to get gas. The Super E just gives it too much gas. Even after I changed the jetting as much as I could, still can't get it to run completely perfectly, except for when you open up the throttle. It loves to get gas when you open up the throttle. So it idles a little rough, and at low RPMs it's a little rough. Other than that, it runs great. The straight pipes, I put baffles in to cut down the the loudness factor of the straight pipes. Still sounds cool, but not as loud. You can see the turn signals again. I love these little bullet turn signals. They're not too small like some guys do. Some guys do the real small ones, and I don't think that looks that great, and they're harder to see too. And I got the mini tombstone tail light. I think that's the perfect size for this bike. The typical tombstone tail light is a little too big. And I capped off the bumpers with a nice little chrome piece. So I think the bike looks great. Original wheels, so I haven't really taken the time to have them repolished, but did the best I can with a little bit of elbow grease. The bike still has a few little leaks after the engine rebuild. Still couldn't quite get it to be completely leak free because I was using all the original engine casings, and so she still burns a little bit of oil, even though she was bored over 60. And the guys that did the rebuild did a pretty good job, but like I said, it wasn't perfect. And what can you expect for a engine that had 35,000 original miles on it anyway? But at this point, she's pretty much refurbished. Like I said, she still has a couple of little oil leaks at the in the cylinders. It still burns a little bit of oil, but other than that, she runs great and she looks great. She's got a nice classic look. Oh, also, I put an electronic ignition in, which obviously helps a lot. And this was the first year of electric start, I believe. So she's got an electric start, electronic ignition. Like I said, new turn signal control system, which is a lot better than the original style. And obviously the brakes were redone, the forks were redone, everything was redone except for, the frame is still original, and the transmission is original. Clutch was replaced with the motor rebuild. And there it is. She's a beauty. 1977 XLH. Alright, I'm going to give her a start. This will be the first start of the day. Starts right up. It's going to take her a little bit to warm up, but started right up even with a weak battery. I can't seem to maintain batteries for very long. I don't think it's a problem with the generator, but for the cold winters around here, even on a battery saver. And there she is. She's a beauty, all right. Yeah, boy. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.